This is Draft to Glory All Out Offense. This is another postseason episode. The Maine Mariners are back in the playoffs for the third time. However, this time we don't have to take on the Buffalo Sabres, which seems like it would be a blessing. But we do have to play the 47-win Toronto Maple Leafs, which makes me think that maybe, just maybe, this might not be all that fun. And really, the playoffs for me haven't been all that fun in NHL 20 thus far. I'm hoping that maybe a new trend is starting and that good things are finally going to happen. This team is still in a very interesting spot where, in theory, we're probably not good enough to win, but good enough to find regular season success. That has been the case for the past couple of seasons. But when you think about it, a team of this caliber, if they're not under my control, if they're under AI control, a team of this caliber winning the Stanley Cup doesn't sound all that far-fetched, does it? We shall see what happens in this series. The one concern is goaltending, because Cyrus Astles, better known as Castles, is underperforming, to say the least. Philippi Daig, if he was a starter and playing at the same level, he'd win the Vezina this year. We're giving our 84 overall goalie an opportunity. It's a short leash. We'll see what happens, though. This team is going to stay the same. The fourth line still going to be a bit weak. Although, boy, am I tempted to call up Konopka and Katsopoulos. Or Kostopoulos, I guess, not Katsopoulos. I'm thinking a full house, dog. I think we're going to leave it as is. Maybe. Is that a smart decision? Do we mess with the formula that got us to this point? But adding Konopka and Kostopoulos, as in Tom Kostopoulos, it's not a bad idea. We have that option in our back pocket if we need it. Let's see what we're up against. What do the Toronto Maple Leafs of the 2030-2031 season look like? What stands in our way of finding success in the playoffs for the very first time? This is a winnable series. It's a winnable series. It's better than ours, obviously, from a well-rounded perspective, but that forward core I wouldn't say is anything special. Type of forward core you could see a team win a cup with, but this should be possible. Mitch Marner's 33. Jesus Christ, that's how far into this we are, huh? Penner, former number 1 overall pick for the Leafs. He's an 86 overall. We need to win this. Even if we end up, now that's just cruel. Very, very cruel. Even if we win this only to get bounced in the second round, that defense, man, that top pairing is really good. And funny how they ended up with the Belfour, but would have made more sense to end up with a Cujo, I guess. This has to be a win. If we lose this. If we lose this, there is no excuse for us to not win this series. We have another 50-win season under our belts. This is as winnable as it gets in the playoffs. They have the advantage on offense, which is mainly because of the fourth line, but we have the advantage on defense and in goal, and it's fairly significant. This has to be a win. This is our year. If we can't make it past the Leafs, I don't know if this core stays. We've debated now for about a season, really over a year, as to whether or not this team's good enough and how early is too early to hit the panic button, blow it up, and try to recover and get a new core established that might be able to win before we hit the 25-year limit. Ideally, we wouldn't have to hit the 25-year limit, but we might. Let's get into this. There is no excuse. There is nowhere to hide. Results. That's all that matters. We need to win this series. I'm not quite at San Jose levels of desperation, because in theory this team shouldn't win as easily as as those teams should have. First period of game 1. We have home ice advantage, and we make the most of it in that first period. Kapusta gets the goal. We elect not to take him out of the lineup, and it pays off for us. And really, 20 seconds later, Jamie Doughty, of all people, to get the goal. One of those guys where if things don't work out for this current core, he's going to be remembered as one of the biggest disappointments. I hate to say it, but it's true. For now, though, we're up 2-0. Second period, we are up 3. It's Ivan Afinoganov, so 2 goals from defensemen on 18 shots. We have the slight edge, low shooting game, but we're up 3-0. We have gotten to Jackson Dirksen, I believe it was. And now we go to the third. 20 minutes away. Hutsko with the goal. And let the panic begin. We need to hold on. We can't blow this. Power play for the Leafs is killed off. We're halfway there. 8.5 minutes. Just hold on. Get the job done. Get that win. And we move on to game 2. And that is exactly what's going to happen. Solid performance. Very solid performance from Castles. 31 saves. And we end up getting the 3-1 victory. So, no complaints. We got the goaltending performance that we need, that Castles is capable of. So far, so good. You could, if you wanted to nitpick and be like, well, your top players didn't do much. They didn't have to, and that's the good thing. We're up 1-0 in the series after a 3-1 victory in game 1. We are going to jump right into game 2, and hopefully we have a repeat performance. First period, it's a goal apiece. Boris Nazarov with the goal for us. 3 minutes later, we see Belfour on the power play. Tied up for the Leafs, 13 shots to 10 in our favor. Second period. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. A 4-goal, 20-minute interval. Korobov on the power play. Kavanagh on the power play. Korobov again, and Joachim Kamel. It is 5-1 for the Mariners. Heading into the third period, Dirksen stayed in the game. Maybe that was a mistake on their part. It is a 4-goal lead heading into the final 20 minutes of regulation, and so far, so good. We are taking advantage of a weaker goaltender and a weaker D-core, as we should. Again, we don't have the most well-rounded team in the world. Kavanagh scores again. Kamel scores again. It's 7-1. We are getting the job done so far. We defend home ice. We're up 2-0 in this series. A 5-point game for Korobov. I debated whether or not I made the right choice to not let him go. He has 5 points in 2 games. I'm not complaining. What a performance from him. What a performance from this team, outscoring the Leafs 10-2 over the first 2 games. Everybody is on point, and I am so afraid that that's not going to continue. But Astel's phenomenal. 967 save percentage through 2 games. How many times have we seen top-notch goalies underperform, or at least solid starters underperform? And sure, Appleby, pretty quiet. Nazarov, solid. Holtz, pretty quiet. And hell, Grigorenko doesn't even have a point, but it's the supporting cast to some of those major players that are getting it done right now. We are going to need those core players to step up here, but so far, like I said, so good. We're not going to make any changes either. We are jumping into Game 3 in Toronto. Let's see what happens. I'm a little bit afraid because my optimism is, it's rearing its ugly head. I'm hoping this is going to be a good result for us. Time will tell. First period of Game 3, and it's a goal apiece. Boris Nazarov and Zach Senyshyn. So we are tied. The Leafs outshoot us in the first period, I believe for the first time in this series. They've yet to have a lead at the end of the first. I don't know. They've had a lead in this series, I think. They might not have. Second period, They definitely have a lead now. You knew they were going to score because I said that. Let's go. Scores again, just about even in shots, but trailing by 1 on the board as we start the third period sim. The Leafs with an extended power play, but they're not able to do anything with it. As we approach the 11-minute mark, another power play for the Leafs killed off. Quick power play of our own goes to waste. Under 7 minutes left, we need a goal here, and we need it quick. It's not looking like it's going to happen, though. It does not. We said we needed the big names to show up offensively. They didn't, and we paid for it. 2-1 final. The Leafs are in this series. It's now a 2-1 lead for us through 3 games. Dirksen with a rebound performance. And that is a game that I feel comfortable in saying got away from us. And it might be a bit much. I'm making changes. I am absolutely making changes. Appleby, I don't expect him to score goals. Holtz needs to score goals, and he hasn't thus far. Grigorenko doesn't have a point through 3 games. That is simply unacceptable. So what the hell are we going to do about it? Jovo looks like he's still probably doing well from a defensive standpoint. Kavanagh, I mean, that third line's looking good. What the hell are we going to do here? Bump up Korobov and Kamel? They don't work well together. One of them would have to be changed to a sniper, and Korobov just is not a great fit for that top line, unfortunately. One of you would have to be a sniper. I guess it would be Kamel. And really, that would just bring it to an even. Whereas instead, you know what? I don't hate Appleby. Damn it. It's still not great. It's because of Kamel. I'm gonna swap Korobov and Appleby. I think. Because then otherwise we're getting into a lot of player edits. And that's just something I don't want to do. And then Benson doesn't necessarily deserve to be on that other line. I want to bump up Kavanagh, but we would lose our boost. Let's go with that. Let's swap Korobov and Appleby for the moment. It's the only change we're going to make. Because I really don't want to have to get into editing player types and all that. It's game 4. Hopefully the top 6 wakes up. If they don't, this series is going to be tied at 2 wins apiece. First period. 2 goals each. Kavanagh scored 20 seconds into the period. Joachim Kamel made it 2-0 within 3 minutes. But Hutsko and Zigra with 2 goals in very quick order. And we are tied at 2 apiece. 9 shots to 6. A pretty low shot count, all things considered. We go to the second, where it's again even. Luke Hughes on the power play. Boris Nazarov on the power play. 3-all, 20 shots to 16. Not exactly a strong goaltending performance. I feel comfortable in saying that. We go to the third. Who will take advantage of this game and potentially this series? The Leafs will either tie it up or we'll have a chance to end the series back home in Game 5 as a power play goes to waste. The next goal is likely to win at this point. Power play again for the Mariners goes to waste. Almost hit finish game, and it might not even matter because we are going to overtime here in Game 4. Again, I'm not going to jump in and watch it unless it's a Stanley Cup Final or an elimination game, so we are staying on this menu. Place your bets as far as who you think is going to score. I know who I'm betting on. That's because he never scores goals. Rudy Jovanovski is my pick. And he's the only pick. I don't care. I'm not going to name someone for the Leafs because we are going to win. Overtime. Game 4. And I want to die. Back-to-back disappointing efforts on the road in Toronto. The Leafs have tied this series at 2 games apiece. An amazing opportunity after outscoring them in drastic fashion for the first 2 games. Back-to-back 1-goal losses on the road. And yeah, we're in a bit of trouble. Just a tad bit. We're making changes. Got no choice now. Have no choice. And whether or not they're desperate changes, call it what you will. Bobkov hasn't been bad, but we are absolutely calling up these two. Going with the higher rated players. And then as far as what this team looks like, I genuinely don't know. So let's just say we were to put Len Konopka there. And on the right, Kostopoulos. Now, Kostopoulos, medium elite, 22 years old, a 78 overall. Len Konopka, I don't exactly have too much hope for. However, that combination seems like it could work if need be. That third line hasn't been bad. I mean, the points aren't there, but it hasn't been bad. I am the most disappointed in Grigorenko and Holtz. By far. By far. It's not even close. The question is, just how far down the pecking order do we drop them? And I don't know the answer to that. Because I don't know if I want to break up that third line because of how well they're playing. If I don't break up the third line, then you got to factor in the fourth line, and then things could get just a tad bit ridiculous. I can admit that. If we were to go with something like this, I would indeed define that as a tad bit ridiculous. And again, sniper-wise, I mean, hell, we could put Kostopoulos, Nazarov, Kamel, Konopka with Appleby and Korobov. Can Korobov play center? He can. He's actually slightly better than Appleby, and that gives him a +1. I don't want to break up the third line. Grigorenko and Holtz will still have power play time. But god damn it, boys. You're both I mean, look at how much money you're getting paid. No point. I mean, 8 games, 2 points between the two of you. You're not going to perform? Take a seat. Power play specialists. Let's get guys out there that might actually play and do something. The defense is fine. And then goaltending-wise, Astles needs to be a little bit better. That's what we're going with. Crazy as it is, I know. We're going for it, though. And I get it. In theory, you know, having some of your best players play a less amount of time isn't great. But if they're not getting the job done, then who the hell cares? It's Game 5. Top players in this game are top players in overall only. It doesn't mean anything. Your numbers can be whatever the hell they want to be. At the end of the day, you're not scoring. Who gives a shit? First period of Game 5 and a 2-1 lead. Kavanov and Afinogenov with the goals. Ruzicka gets one back on the power play. Much better, even though we were outshot 14-8. We're up 2-1. Second period, we are up 4-2. Montgomery scores. Farmer scores on the power play, and Len Konopka scores in his first appearance to reinstate the 2-goal lead. We're up 4-2. 25 shots to 16 in the Leafs' favor. As we go to the third, can we hold on? Can we defend home ice again as 5 scores? The overtime winner, Penner, ties it. 2 goals in 57 seconds. Power play for the Leafs. Farmer scores. Power play for the Leafs. Afinogenov on our power play. 5. Hinostroza, 6-5. 6-5. 6-5. 4 goals in the third period for the Leafs. As it stands, I am blowing this team apart without any regret or second thought. Unbelievable. Like a totally different team than what we saw through those first 2 games. Completely different. Astles is done. Daig is in. Outside of those first 2 games, he's been garbage. Absolute garbage. Good on Grigorenko for getting a point. Well done. $11 million. 1 point. Through 5 games. 1. Fuck off. Just fuck off. I want to scratch him. I want to take him out. What's the point? Alex Holtz at least has 3 points. I'm not impressed, though. You know, guess what? Yeah, you have 3 points in 5 games. Cool. You still don't have a goal. You're supposed to be one of our top goal scorers. If Grigorenko didn't get a point, I would have scratched him. Philippi Daig's in. Let's see if it's too little too late to save us. It's game 6 on the road. Leafs have won 3 straight in this series. Can we hold on? Can we live to fight another day? Will there be a game 7? First period, 2-1. Nazarov on the power play. Belfour gets one back. Kamel scores shorthanded to put us up 2-1 at 15 shots to 11. It's looking good so far. Second period, it is no longer looking good. Elias Lindholm and Penner on the power play. We're down by a goal. Heading into the third period. Our season is on the line. The future of a lot of these players in this jersey, it's on the line. If we fuck this up, Mitch Marner scores on the power play. This team's done. Yeah, this team's done. I'm blowing it up. We're hitting the panic button. It's done. This team's not going to win. If they can't make it past this challenge, they're done. They're done. So get ready for another 5+ years of misery. Because this team is done. 4 straight losses after winning the opening 2 games in convincing fashion. We are eliminated in 6 games by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I have had it. That's disgraceful. Grigorenko and Holtz are done. They've played their last games for this team. No fucking way am I continuing to pay them that much money. No way. We'll see what other guys are worth keeping. Who's worth leaving on this team. Boris Nazarov was our first ever pick. Might be good to send him to a team that might actually fucking win something. It'll be interesting who stays and who goes. The issue is, we have our 2 top defensemen are 26 each. It's just not going to happen, though. Cyrus Astles is probably done. Because I don't know if I can bear to even read his name anymore. Not as if Philippi Daig was great in that elimination game. Just... I don't know, guys. I got nothing. I got nothing. They're losing to Buffalo, sure. That was a tremendous opportunity that we didn't let slip through our fingers. We had it. And we dropped the goddamn ball.